Hello and welcome to my channel. Today's video is going to be two different things. I'm going to make an author page and then my March setup for my reading journal. I'm starting off with an author page for Natasha Preston. I printed out a bunch of her book titles, mostly her mystery thrillers because those are my favorite. I just learned that she does a couple of romances. I haven't read any of her romances yet, but the bottom three, I believe, maybe the bottom two are romances. The idea of this page is a checklist. I have read a couple of these books and I'll mark them later on in the video. It's also to dedicate the page to one of my favorite authors. Here's the thing about Natasha Preston. She is one of my favorite authors. I really enjoy reading her books. However, on the editing side, her books are not very good. I constantly see problems in the books, whether they're grammar or plot holes, but I feel like that's just the charm of the books. On the flip side of that, her mystery thrillers are very interesting. They're very attention-grabbing and they're very addicting. Usually, when I read the first maybe half of the book, I'll slowly read it, put it down, not look at it for a day, maybe 2 days. But as soon as I get to that part in the plot where it starts going and gets faster, then I'll finish the whole book in the same day. I actually just finished reading Awake, which is about this girl who escapes from a cult when she's a small child. I think she's 4 years old, but it doesn't matter too much. And as she gets older, the cult tries to find her and tries to bring her back because they want to sacrifice her. They think that sacrificing her is going to be the key to eternal life on the other side. So every 4 years is a chance to go through the ceremony, is a chance to sacrifice her, and that's when it's most dangerous in her life. And the book takes place when she's just turning 16. She's just about to turn 16, and they come back for her full force. It's a really interesting read. I won't give more details beyond that. As you can see here, I'm marking off the ones I've read, which are The Cellar, The Lost, and Awake. All three of those were very good, and I'm really looking forward to reading more from her mystery thrillers. The second one, right after The Cellar, is, I believe it's called You Will Be Mine, which is a part 2 or second in the series to The Cellar. She doesn't make any series in her mystery thrillers, only book 1 and book 2 of The Cellar and The Cellar 2, so I'm really interested to see where that's going to go. Because The Cellar is about this guy who kidnaps a bunch of girls, and it's through the point of view of one of the girls, where the second book in the series is through the perspective of the kidnapper. So moving on, I'm making the title page for March. I decided to go with a coffee theme, and I printed out a bunch of pictures of coffee shops and like aesthetic coffee pictures. I know that one of the pictures, the one in the bottom right corner, is upside down, and I didn't notice that until after I glued it and after I filmed everything. So it's too late to go back and fix it, but I do know that it's upside down. Now I'm just gluing all the pictures in. I did have one of those rolling tape things, I'm not really sure what they're called, but I just ran out of the tape in the beginning of this video, so I have to use glue. A fun fact about glue, actually, I'm allergic to glue, and while I was doing this, I was getting glue all over my fingers, and it did hurt, and it didn't feel the best, but, sacrifices for our journals. I had this idea that since I'm doing a coffee theme, I wanted to do a ring of coffee, like if somebody just put down their coffee cup on the papers. So this bowl is filled with coffee, and I've just dipped my coffee cup into it and I pressed it on, and I was really hoping that it wasn't going to bleed too much. That's why I put that brown paper, ripped up paper bag beneath the page. It didn't end up bleeding too bad. It did bleed through the other page and you can kind of see it, but it's not that bad and it's not that noticeable, so I'm not too upset about it. So while I'm waiting for it to dry, I'm just working on the other page. I just put down washi tape on the top as a kind of border, and then I'm gluing in a couple more pictures that I printed out. I added in some more washi tape to tie everything together and to take up some of the negative space. Then for the title, I'm using my stamps, and in my stamp ink kit, I have a brown ink, so I thought that brown ink would go better with the coffee theme. So I'm just putting in March, and then I'm putting in stats at the top of my next page and with the brown ink. When I flip the page back, you can see where it bleeds through a little bit, and see, it's really not that bad. And then I'm writing in the stats that I want to record, which are the number of books I've read, how many books I read for work, how many books I read for fun, and then how many pages I read overall. I'm making the rest of this page a quote page. I'm still trying to figure out the exact layout for the months I want to do. I know that there's not too many things that I want to track because I'm tracking most of the things in my yearly trackers, so it's not needed in my monthlies. Then for the next page, I'm setting up my layout for the books that I read. I printed out just one more picture, and it's really cute. I found it on Pinterest. And then I'm just finishing it up with more washi tape borders to tie everything in. I like the idea of having washi tape border throughout my whole journal, and that can be one of the things that ties everything together, an overall theme. I'm also using this coffee cup stamp that I got from Hobby Lobby, and it ended up looking so cute, and I was so happy with how it came out that I decided to do it on the title page as well. And now here's a flip through of all the pages I did. Usually when I film a video, I write a script, and this time I didn't. I'm really hoping eventually going off of a script is going to be easier and easier with less and less retakes. I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next week.